Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 9. So we're in the last handful of days until The Flash is back for the 9th and final time with its Season 9 premiere. Now there is a lot of anticipation and just overall excitement as to how the show will go about, wrapping up its 9-season journey and what new and exciting surprises are going to be mixed in there, while also being mixed with the old and familiar and maybe returning faces. Now as we usually get, leading up to a new season of any show really, we do get interviews with the showrunner, in this case for The Flash, that being Eric Wallace, and they're starting to come out, and there is usually some pre-episode interviews, if you want to call it, and then post-episode interviews, depending if the episode spills a lot, which most season premieres do tend to do. So we do have one of them to go over, and I'm probably only going to go over about half of this interview, actually probably less, maybe like a third, because some of it was just some pointless stuff, if I'm being honest. But I am going to split the interview into story things and character things. So the character one, which is less important than the story one, but the character one still has some interesting stuff in it. And that might not come out until after the episode is aired, because it's not really about episode 1 specifically, just more the season as a whole, but it might come out before, I'm not too sure. But today we're talking about the story, and there's some fairly interesting things here. So this interview is one that Eric Wallace did with The Flash podcast. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your various thoughts in the comment section down below, any opinions, any theories, predictions, all that stuff, let me know down there. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show support, you're looking forward to The Flash being back for the 9th and final time, want to drop a like on the video to show support and excitement. Was the final season a result of all the corporate changes, or was this more of a mutual conclusion? I don't know the full answer on that myself. I think it is a combination of a lot of things. I think 9 seasons feels right. Times are changing both here at the studio and on the show. We've been doing it for a while, and I do think it's good to finish while you're still strong and not just running it into the ground. We are lucky enough to get an extra season and actually finish on our terms, which I feel very fortunate about. So I've said this, before, that and many times, that I thought season 9 was going to be the last season, pretty much around the season 5 or 6 time, just for one simple thing. It would have gone one season longer than Arrow. And that was pretty much the base of my expectations and predictions. It's pretty simple, but it turned out right. I wasn't really thinking, episode 8 is going to be this storyline, episode 7 is going to be this storyline, so then it leads into this perfect season 9 storyline. It was literally just based off the fact that it would one-up Arrow, and that would be the goal there, because after Arrow ended, The Flash was the longest running show. So makes sense, and that's how it worked out. Now, it does make you question whether some of the stuff going on at the CW did push them over the line, because one thing that we will go over on the character side of things in whenever it is, the next couple of days or something like that, does mention that there were season 10 plans with a certain character. So I don't know, makes you wonder whether season 9 did feel right, or if they could have kept going. I think it, with TV, if the star wants to continue going, like Grant Gustin, they'll keep doing the show. So I think it was really up to Grant Gustin. If Grant Gustin wants to leave after season 9, then they're always going to end with season 9. So who knows what the true end bringer was, if you want to call it. But season 9 does feel right. I think it's good to end on season 9, and I'm happy with it, and I think most people watching would be as well. I would say in the premiere that boxes are already being checked off when it comes to things that we have wanted to see. Going into the final season, how conscious were you of wanting to incorporate certain elements for characters? Extremely conscious. I went back and looked at season 1 with the staff for a rewatch, and we're like, hey, whatever happened to that? It got dropped. We need to pick that up. We need to check that box. So you'll see a lot of Easter eggs throughout the season that actually do close the loop on a few things. You'll also see some very big hanging things from season 1, no spoilers, that needed to get addressed, that finally got addressed, that I'm very happy about. So this has you very curious as to what was hanging, what was a hanging thread from season 1 that hasn't really been properly explained or closed off into this final season. Now, there's one with a pretty big character, which will actually be referenced, or not referenced, sorry, but alluded to, I guess, in the next question we go over. But I am very curious to see what these hanging threads are, that either they're Easter eggs, where you hear them maybe mentioned and they're closed off, or they're actually brought up straight up in the show, and the show actually makes a point of closing that off. I wonder what it could be. I mean, there are little characters like Linda Park and stuff who just went away after season 2, for example, and never showed up again. And maybe some other minor characters. But I don't know what would be something from season 1 that you'd bring to the forefront to close off outside of one specific character, which we know is going to play into this season, and also sort of is alluded to in the next question. So yeah, if you have any thoughts, let me know in the comments. One of my favorite episodes is season 1, episode 15, Out of Time. How crucial might that episode be? I would say that's not crucial, simply because I consider that episode to be perfect. I don't want to mess with that. I make no secrets, that's my favorite episode. It's always been. Of the first 3 years before I got here, that's my number 1 favorite episode. That's the one where I watched and went, this show is phenomenal, holy blank blank blank. I would say episode 17 and onward is what I would start rewatching very specifically. That's a pretty big spoiler right there. Now you might be sitting there going, what happens in episode 17 of season 1 up until the end of season 1? Well, episode 17 of season 1 is actually the Tricksters episode. So that episode, when you just look at it, the Tricksters, not much there. But that episode, and if it's what I'm thinking that Eric Wallace is alluding to here, then this is a big thing. Episode 17 of season 1 is when the Flash, or Barry, reveals his identity to Eddie. That is the episode that Eddie Thawne learns that Barry is the Flash, and that pretty much starts that, you'd say, downward spiral of Eddie, where, Iris starts to get closer to Barry, their relationship falls apart, everything like that, and then of course it leads up to Eddie dying, shooting himself to get rid of Eobard Thawne and actually being the hero of the day, but never really properly being recognized as the hero by Central City, and Central City proclaimed the Flash as the hero that saved the day, when Reverse Flash was going to kill everyone in that room if Eddie didn't do what he did, in that moment by shooting himself and erasing Eobard in the process. So I wonder if that's what Eric Wallace is referring to when he says episode 17. That's the start of Eddie knowing who the Flash is, knowing that Barry is the Flash, and that whole downfall or downward spiral up until the point he dies in the finale of season 1. So if you really want stuff to watch in preparation for this season before it starts in a couple of days, I guess episode 17 of season 1 up until the finale. There's your homework. A lot of people are under this theory that somehow Barry is going to still vanish, become the lightning bolt that strikes himself in 2013. Can you rule that out? I can tell you that's not happening because I didn't even know about that. That's interesting. No, that's not the ending. It will be a happy ending. We want people to be crying with tears of joy. It'll be a lot of tears and a lot of bittersweet memories and a lot of old faces, hopefully, fingers crossed. So thank you, Eric Wallace. That's all I can say. If you've followed me for a while, you know I hate this theory, this ending theory that Barry becomes a lightning bolt because Barry has to die. It literally, in the comics, it happens because Barry's dead from Crisis, and that's why he becomes a lightning bolt and hits the younger Barry. In the context of the show, Barry would have to die if they wanted to work. So it doesn't really make too much sense if you want Barry to not die. So thank God that thank Bebo that he's ruled that out. No offense if you wanted it to happen, but if you've watched my channel for a bit, that I've not wanted that to happen, that I'm strictly against it. I'm anti Barry becoming the lightning bolt. That's how much I'm against it. In regards to this, he also does tease old faces, but is he referring to the ones that have already been announced? He does say a lot of old faces, hopefully, fingers crossed. So I guess there's ones that are still yet to be confirmed that they're trying to get for the finale. They are in episode 11 at the time of making this video, and the time the video will most likely come out, sorry. I think they're on they got 2 or 3 days left of filming for episode 11 before they move into episode 12, so they're not far away from approaching that, but I think they do have a break in filming because they're not meant to end until middle of March for filming The Flash's final season. So yeah, they might go on a break of filming, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get announcements if any more people are coming back because it's pretty hard to contain stuff, especially with a lot of people going into Vancouver at one time. People would notice. And the final question is, can you reveal what episode Nia Nal, or Dreamer, will appear in? I don't even know if I can do that. I will give you this because I don't think this is a huge spoiler. That is an interlude episode, not a graphic novel. That tells you right there. It's more in the middle. Now, when I was doing my Twitch stream, someone said that in another interview, he says it's episode 8, but I couldn't find this interview where he said it was episode 8. So I don't know if there was the person assuming it was episode 8 because that would be around the middle, even though the middle exactly for this season would be episode 7. Now, we are unsure about what 6, 7, and 8 are strictly going to be. We know that episode 6 is called The Good, the Bad, and the Lucky and will feature Hazard or Becky Sharp coming back. So Nia Nal's probably not in that episode. So it's either 7 or 8 that she's going to be in. I know there's a lot of people concerned about there being an interlude in this final season where there is only 13 episodes, but it's very, very important to remember they have to give Grant a break. Grant Gustin, who plays Barry, they have to give him a break because he's going to be going hard out filming 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, those final 5 episodes of the season. Episode 9 is that big Oliver Queen episode. You'd have to assume there's going to be a lot of Barry and Oliver interaction in that episode. And then we know 10, 11 are big episodes, and of course 12 and 13 are the final 2 episodes of the show ever. So it's important that that Grant gets that break to lead into that. Now, whether that break is episode 7 or 8, that's up in the air. But of course, Nia now in this episode is going on teaming up with Iris, and they're going on like a journalist story in the episode, which will take up and be like the main story. I don't know if Grant's going to be in that episode at all. He might be at the beginning and then at the end, and that's it. But he needs a break. They're always going to do that with these filming schedules. So I think you just have to understand that. Hopefully the episode is entertaining with Nia, Nal, and Iris as the leads in it, most likely. But that probably depends on the story. But yeah, that probably is going to be the episode that might annoy people. So it's a wait and see. Hopefully it's a decent story though. That's like the hope. But yeah, that is all to go over at the moment for this interview. As I said, this is just the story stuff, and we will have the character-based stuff in another interview or another video, might I say. Maybe before the episode comes out, it might be after, I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see how things line up schedule-wise. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on all the stuff we went over. Very curious to hear what you guys have to say on some of this stuff. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.